मैंने मुझे कौन सा नहीं आया मुझे फिल्म भेजा तो क्या दिक्कत आ रही है वहाँ से कल पे कौन आया
गुस्सा भी प्रेशर तो हाई हुई इसके पास पचपन हो गए Good morning to everybody. Now again, this is today's third day, MMPH 004, Industrial and Employment Relations, the course of the title of this course. So today I try to cover up the block number 2, where this is a trade unionisms. Trade unions, there are 6 units, 4 units, unit number 6, 7, 8, 9. Unit 6, this is development and the function of the trade unions. Unit 7, there is a trade union structure, leadership, and recognitions. Unit 8 is your managerial unionisms, and Unit 9 is employment relations in non-union firms. So Now we can start with unit number 6. That is development and functions of trade unions. The process of modern industrialization gave the path for the emergence of the trade unions, and gradually the trade unions have become an integral and powerful force in the contemporary system of the productions and distribution of goods and services. Employers organizations are formal groups of employers that is set up to define the represent of or the advice affiliated employers and to strengthen their position in society at large with respect to labor millions besides the economic matters. These all employers organizations are composed of the enterprises. As a trade union, this is the focus of the objectives of this trade union, as we have discussed in the block 1, to develop the employers, to develop the employees, to see their benefits. The development of the trade unions in India can be studied under the following stages. There are so many stages are there. The stage 1 is a period of fast World War, that is from 1875 to 1918. Then second stage is your between two great wars, that is 1948, 1918 to 1938, World War I and World War II, that period. And number third is during and after the Second World War. That is, we can estimate the 1939 to 1946. And the last is number 4 is the post-independence period, 1947 to as on date, you can see, up to the dates. So this is the way it has different stages has been studied. A mass meeting was organized in Bombay in April 1890, and which was estimated to have been attended by around about the 10,000 workers was attended that time, and a resolution was passed in the meeting raising the following demands. Some of the demands has been resolution as clear passed. Which are the resolutions? Number 1, weekly off, then your half an hour rest at lunch break or whatever, half an hour rest. Reducing the working hours, earlier it was 10 or 12 hours, now it is 8 hours. That resolution has been decided that time. Payment of wages not less than 15 days of each month, every particular this month's salary, that what are the wages that should be previous year's month salaries should be disbursed by 15th day of the each month. Compensation to injuries sustained by a worker on duty. On duty, if anything is happened, any injuries, that compensation has to be given. Then development and functions of the trade unions. Development and function of the trade unions, that is following the information of the Bombay Mill and the association. A number of unions were formed in different parts of the country as given. That is your Railway Servant of the India and Burma, the Printers Union of Calcutta 1905, then your Bombay Portal Union at Calcutta and Madras 1970, and then Commander Hitchcock Sabha, that is 1990, and the social service legals. So all these are the following the foundation uh, for the development purposes. The following responsible for this situation were as follows: the grave economic difficulties created by the war resulted in an increased strain of the industrial unrest. The rising cost of the living made and the workers to take and increase their wages. The Swaraj movement, reminding gulf between the employers and the employees, mass happiness among the workers demanding principles equally with their British employers, and further intensified the movement. The factors are responsible for this situation are as what are the factors are there? It's the emergence of a revolutionary wave of ideas, class consciousness, respect among the workers from the Russian Revolution in 1917, then establishment of the international labor law (ILO) in 1919, giving dignity to the workers in all over the world, non-cooperation movement by Mahatma Gandhi during the services. Then your present scenario of the trade union movement, the Indian trade unions have now got a legal status. Earlier it was not there. They have now become a permanent features of the industrial society. They have a successor to the organizing the central union federations, which help in the determinations of the principles, philosophy, ideology, and purposes of the unions, and give some sense of the directions to the otherwise scattered and the isolated unions. These changes have manifested in three ways. As political leaders have secondly interested in the labor union activities. Now more emphasis has been paid to labor leadership by giving them more attention to the improvement of the union cadre, finances, and the training in the official administrations. The national federations have shown the keen interest in the long-term activities, even maintaining their able characters. Now federations allow for the training of the workers. The trade union functions in autonomous units rather than simply as the activities of the political parties. Basic functions of the important basic functions of the trade unions by the National Commission of the Labour. They are given to secure for the workers fair wages, to safeguard the security of the tenure, the improved condition of services, then to enlarge the opportunities for promotion and the training, to improve the working and the living conditions. These all are the basic functions listed by the National Labour Law. Now, development and the functions of the trade unions. Basic functions. The important basic functions of the trade union listed by the national is to provide the educational, cultural, and educational facilities, to cooperate in and facilitate the technological advantage by the broadening the understanding of the workers on these underlying the issues. Then you have to promote the identity of the interests of the workers with their industry. And the 8th point is to offer the responsive cooperations and the improving levels of the production and the productivity, discipline and the high standard of the quality. To promote the individual and the collective welfare. So all these aspects are taken care of. All these functions, basic functions, are required and decided. Economic functions, if we see in the economic functions, in this case, the underlying the idea of the forming a trade union is to acquire the collective stake. That is your protecting and advancing the terms and condition of your employment of its member, negotiating and the setting terms and conditions of the employment and their remunerations, improving the status and the working living conditions of the workers. Here actually we are talking about economic functions. Economically, the workers should be strong enough. Basic idea is this. Promoting economic and the social interest of this member. Then social functions carried out by the trade unions are as follows. The social functions normally is carried out by trade unions, that is initiating and developing the workers' education schemes. So from education schemes, organizing the welfare and the recreational activities such as mutual insurance, then you are providing the monetary and other help during the periods of strike and the economic distress. Then running the cooperative ways, providing the housing facilities is one of the important. Participating in community development and the community protection activities, then emerging in cultural activities. What are the cultural activities? Then cooperating with the governmental agencies in the social welfare program, any social welfare program with the government organization agencies, that cooperation is required. Then political functions are that is carrying out the political education of the workers. Politically, any worker should know what is his right. Obtaining the political power and influence through the developing political parties of their own and extending help to candidates of other political parties who are sympathetic to the cause of labor. And carrying on the lobbying the activities for influencing the courts of labor and other legislations, participating in and representing the workers on the advisory institutions and boards, developing the militancy and the revolutionary arch among the workers, then protesting against the governmental decisions and measures detrimental to the interest of the workers. The interest of the workers, that part is there. If we need that workers can do these things, then international functions, there is participating in the organizational and activities of the international labor activities, associating with the International Federation of the Trade Union, then your International Confederation of the Free Trade Unions, and International Trade Union secretaries for the purpose of building working class in need and solidarity. Sending the monetary and other help to workers of other countries during the period of need and need. Then various structural type of the unions have been emerged over a period of time. So there are craft occupational unions, then industrial unions, general unions, enterprise unions, and state-sponsored unions, etc., and your national federations. The main features of each of the unions are to be discussed. I mean, that we should know what are the things in short. So here actually some structure is given. What is the central federations? Then what are the affiliated and independent groups? The industrial federations at the national level. There's some affiliation group is there. Some independent bodies are there. Then industrial federations at the regional levels. One is the national levels. Then we can say in this case is the regional levels. Again, some affiliated parts are there, and your independent parts is also there. State branches of the central federations. So federation we can take another way, and then finally it comes primary unions. So, or otherwise vice versa, from down to top levels. So primary unions are what it may be a 3, 4, 5 number of units affiliated. Number more than uh, one unions are there, and some independent union body will be there. It may be number of depending on the registration and their registration part and allowable part. Then this is the structural view there. That is the what the way the relations are there basically, and how it has emerged. Trade unions and the labor relations. So trade union structure, leadership, the recognitions are the informal sector and its alternative form of the organization. The following discussions related to the trade union structure in the organization sector with the formal sector which amount or they around 7% of the labor force. Such huge number of labor force in our country from this they are contributing in the structure of the so the informal sector unorganized basically the sectors amount nearly 93% of the country's working populations. So there is a huge number of populations are unorganized sectors. That is so in spite of having a large majority of the workforce, the sector has been neglected by the trade union movement in the country. So whereas we have seen there are two things. That is one of the organized sectors only 7%. But in the case of the other way, see there unorganized sector 93%. So there are a lot of reform and close monitoring, a lot of policies are required from the government side, from the organization side, so that the worker of the unorganized sectors can be benefited and they can economically can their growth should be there. So this is a neglected area. So a lot of work has to be done. So now the government of the trade unions in India. The government of the trade unions in India can be discussed at 3 levels. As follows: the 3 levels: one of your primary level unions, industry level federations, and your central federations. So basically, there are 3 levels are being decided. So important is the industrial level is very important because there are a lot of decisions are required. Managerial unions are like the trade unions in general suffered a minor setback towards the mid 17th on account of the national emergency. So that time it is tremendously it has suffered during that time 97 to 77, 1975 to 77. That time due to national emergency it has been suffered. So however, immediately after lifting of the national emergency, managerial unionism gained its momentum. Then after that, it has taken its own path, and growth has been there. In fact, during the Janata government regime that followed the emergency, several officers, associates were registered as unions under the Trade Union Acts 1920. And some of them were formally recognized by the top management. That is a part of your managerial engagement factor. Then boundaries of the managerial associations. Here we have to see the what are the boundaries are there. The where the top layer of the managers are left out. This whether color white color clerical and the staff unions are in the top. So some sort of boundaries are there. In the corporate levels, most of the cases are white collar jobs because where the people are uh, attached with the decision making process and their intellectual people are there. So you can see all this layer of managers are apex bodies basically. And there's a managerial association up there. Some of the organization companies they have a association, they have a unions also. Uh, there's a managerial associations, or you can say executive association, executive committees there. So it is a managerial association territory decided. Then your uh, it is problematic to determine the limits of the association constituency of the managerial association in India because there are not state cut any boundaries defined. No, not define the boundaries of the things. There is no limit as such. So it is very difficult and the problematic to identify the managerial association in India, how far it is there. So according to Ramaswamy at the base of the managerial associations take up from where the white color clerical and the staff union stops. At the apex, the managerial associations evidently leave out the top layer of the managers who may not join or be acceptable to the associations. So what lies in between these 2 points in association trade? So it is Ramaswamy as per his study, it has been decided, he has given these ideas about the managerial associations. Some of the major causes for the formation of managerial unions in India. What is the reason behind it? Why the managerial unions in the what level associations? Okay, it is understand. But in the managerial level unions are very rare cases. So what is the root cause? What is the major causes that has been defined? There are so many causes. Narrowing the wage differentials because the wage difference is not much because most of the cases the managers at the different levels their pay package are almost near same. There is no much differentiations. Even the level is different. So that is one of the point because those who are in the higher post, higher levels, they are always expect the high wages. So if the wages system is not good, then may create some of the problems. Loss of identity. Sometimes that particular manager is not getting any identity, not his work has not been declared as a good job or something. He's feeling some isolations. Job insecurity. Because sometimes he may or may not be able to continue the jobs. It may be a transfer, it may be a layoff or these conditions. So that job insecurity is very important cases. If association is not there, no support system is not there, there is a chance that insecurity feelings will be more. In the case of other way, on the other hand, you see that in the workers, they have a good institutions, union is there, so they can protect, they can argue, they can put up the proposals for the better. But in this case, if it is not in the managerial cases, the insecurity is more because they don't have any association. So if something is there decided by the management, nobody can argue or nobody can put up their arguments to defend the things they know that is the wrong thing or right things. So that is one of the major issues for the job insecurity in the managerial levels. Perceived need and the protection from the militant trade unionisms. So that is one of the protections is required. Another is bureaucratic cultures, because the seniors are uh, egoistic or something. The work was very slow process, not taking the decisions. Lot of hierarchy are there. So that is the bureaucratic culture. Again, it's a problem. Promotion may not be getting in any time. A lot of hierarchies, lot of procedures are there. So this is the things are there. So this is another one of the part of these things. Bureaucratic cultures. Absence of participative forums, because there is no forum where agenda, where the issues can be discussed jointly, togetherness, how to proceed further. So that type of participation is not there, because there is no forums, no agenda points. So this is one of the points are important. Promotion policies, because some cases based on the performance only, or maybe the liking of the boss, depends on the liking of the boss, that subordinate are getting the promotions, or maybe the choiceable posting can be achieved. So there are some sort of problems are there in the case of promotions policy if there is a low managerial unions are not there. So who can ring the cat things? Because who can challenge the things, or who can raise the issues to the management. So that is one of the problems in the case of the promotion policies. To be a third force between the working class and the management. So this is also one of the issues. Some third force are there. They are in the working class and the management in between. They are dominating the things. So which is tremendous effect in the managerial. So in the this level, here actually the discuss about the causes of why this formation, managerial union formation is required in India, especially. Now, the activities of the managerial unions, the protections, reservations, and improvement of occupational interests. Here, actually, after the post COVID, it has been realized to everybody that the protection, reservation, and professional interests are very much required from health point of view and other welfare activities. So, and the organizational interest and units is very much required. So, some of the listed there. So, protection, preservations, and improvement. That is one of the point. Welfare activities. This is also one of the very much important. Organizational interest, always, and channel of communications. So, awareness, to spread the awareness, to know the company's viewpoint, to know the objectives of the companies, what are the forecasts, I think, for futuristic of work, the project work, that everybody should know that type of communications. So channel of communications increase and maybe developed. Then for many decades, the concept of and the practice of the employees' representations primarily involve the representation to the trade unions. Because in a long time, traditionally, it has been seen that the employees' representations, there are some unions are there and some representatives are there, and they are put up on behalf of the employees, they are put up the proposals. So management. So unions have been viewed as a negotiating agents for collective agreements with the employers, whether at unit level or industrial level or national level. So uh, decade by decade, it has been seen simply they are as an agent of the like this, and they are negotiating and they are achieved some of the goals or some money compensation and declared okay we solve this problem. This role of union has been a result of general understanding that workers have to associate together to strengthen their bargaining power with their employers. So, question is to strengthening the power. This is one of the issues. Okay, no doubt, union should have a power, good power, and what are the power they should be utilized as a positive, so positive way, real benefits, real welfare definitely keep in mind. At the same time, they have to see the organization's benefit also. Overall revenue generations they should be seen. Then only they can also empower in that. So power the so unions fulfillment uh, union fulfilled this role quite successfully during the decades around 1950s to 1980. They have very strong union was there, and they have most of the cases they have succeeded. They are dominate the situations. And employer and the company owners they are bound to leave these things even in respect of bonus, gratuity, and other facilities. But now things are changing. Now question is, suppose in the case of your non-union organizations, suppose in case of non-union organizations, what will happen? In the non-union farms, it does not mean that union does not exist in the establishment. It refers to another organizations where the management does not deal with the trade union that collectively represents the interests of the employees because it does not recognize the union for taking the decisions related to terms and conditions of the employment. So non-union farm means it doesn't mean there is no union. No, union is there, that is exists. But question is there is no participation, and even the management is also ignoring that trade union, and collectively they are not taking any interest, or particular interest of these employees. They are taking their decisions as per their own. How it has happened? Because definitely that unions, whatever the existing unions, they are not strong enough. They don't know how to bargain the things. They don't know power strength is not there. That is the issue. It also represents a situational where the management consultants only a section of workers, while it does not recognize the another section of the workers for the negotiations or the consultations. Problem is what are the existing unions are there. They are also not capable. There is not that type of leaderships are not there. They are not together. That togetherness is also not there. They can jointly discuss the things and achieve the things for the benefit of the employees. That power they do have, and rather they are not united also. No activities basically. So it also represents a situation where the management considers only a section of workers while it does not recognize another section of workers for the negotiations or consultations. Non-unionism occurs in the firms because of the various reasons. There's so many reasons why this type of situation occurs that you have to see. Some of these reasons are below like this. One of these is your management wants to avoid the trading. The management is do not want that influence should not that trade union should not influence the employees. That is management always thinking. Non-unionisms occurred by chance and not because the trade unionisms caused by any problems. Because it is by chance it is. Guest Tenor 1994 decided non-union organizations into several types. There are so many types with them. That is it is a good, bad, and ugly type non-unionism. So it's categorized, it's divided in some unionisms. Good non-unionisms. The good non-unionism employer provides an attractive terms and conditions of the employment and the employees and advanced human resource management practices. For example, greater autonomy, above average remunerations, and development opportunities. So that type of things they are giving the opportunity for the non-unionism employees. Bad and ugly non-unionisms, that is such firms operate in highly competitive markets and are often dependent upon the larger enterprises for their work. That is in terms of bad non-unionism firms because they are not in always they are dependent on the large company enterprises. They are not in a position to in a market for the competitions. So management that case offers the poor wages and work conditions without malintentions, while in the ugly management seek to exploit the workers. So this is one of the their negative part for non-union organizations. Now, non-union organizations, they are, as per the Smoky's 1951, he has identified the characteristics of the non-union companies as a sense of carrying a climate of trust, high profitability, employment security, promotion from the within, and influential personal departments, then competitive pay and benefits, open communication channels, better performance management. Non-union organizations are also known to be the characteristics by electoralisms and the equality. Inequality. So, for the better management purposes. But now the reasons for the emergence for non-union funds. So here actually you have to see what are the reasons for emergence, which is very much secret. It is generally considered that the decline in the trade unions is attributable to four major factors. There are major four factors are there which are attributed. Which are the factors? Structural or you can say the economic changes. That is one of the factors. Two, there is political legal influences. Then is political factor you can say. What are the influences? Then third is your managerial attitudes and behavior. That is third one. And fourth is your employee attitudes and living. So you see, here we are actually the human resource management part, is behavior part, is very much activities where the things. So non-union firms are able to manage employees well as they get the opportunity to deal directly with the employees rather than through the unions. So if the union is there but they are not dealing properly, in this case, management has to decide that directly they can interact for the for their development. So non-union firms are basically able to contact with their managed to employees as well to get the opportunities. Because if the union is there, it may not be possible to interact directly with the employees always. Now, human resource systems in non-union firms. Now, here actually try to highlight it how much HR and HR systems are involved in the non-union. The human resource systems in many of the organizations is now fulfilling the gap by being the having a high involvement with the employees, though there is still a belief that there is no substitute to unions. Some maximum people are saying, well, I mean, the belief is this: the union should be there. The union can do all these things. But now that philosophy is now changing, mindset is now changing. HM can do this on behalf of, because one of the trade union is not there, or they are not in functioning, even though they are simply sleeping in the sense, no activity as such, but HR people can do this. What are the gaps are there? Union and the management, that gap can be fulfilled by HR persons. So that's the increasing, the HR role is increasing day by day. The changing shape of the organizations, because you see what are the protecting the employee, their interest, HR can understand in better because they know the policies, they know the compensation package, all this awareness is there, they can deliver very nicely to the employees and the workers. The relationship between the employees and the employer has undergone a big change with the technological interventions in work and emergence of gig economy. Because because of the globalizations and technological changes are there, lot of advancement has been there, has occurred. So that's why an economy is also growing. So it is required to, that relationship has to be built up and that relationship is also strong enough. The focus today is on the developing and the retaining the talented employees. The main focus is to train the people to get good jobs, productivity can be increased, talent people can be retained in the acquisition rate or turnover of the employees should be reduced. So this is the main focus. Various strategies for that, various strategies of the HR resource management have been developed from time to time to enhance the employee satisfaction with the dual objectives to the improved productivity and have positive employees relationships. So this here actually is highlighted that the HR sources systems. So particularly any organizations, though are if they have the good HR practices or human resource systems, the system is very strong, then they can definitely run the company in a better way, even though no there is no union. Union is not required at all. So in case of the non-union firms, where the union is not there, HR system should be strong enough. And they can only fulfill the gaps of the trade unions. Dispute settlement of the non-union organizations. So this is another issue. Dispute is there because as early as possible, what are the disputes should be sorted out. Otherwise, we create a stress and different problems you can shoot. So unions have a significant effect on the organization structures and the practices by institutionalization dispute resolution through a well-developed grievance process. In addition to their important contributions to improving the working conditions and economic gains for workers. Union participation in collaborative bargaining is an important means of achieving the industrial control. Because if the participation of the workers is more, so there will be some automatically the relations also to be good, and the total environment will be achievable. Plus, maintain the harmony. And another thing, the collective bargaining is viewed as a defining features of the labor management relationships, because collective bargaining, where the decisions and ideas are clubbed and analysis the part of these things, so their relationships also indirectly are relationships also better, providing both parties, the employee and the employer, both the parties are relations are will be good. So with the effective manner means managing workforce conflict. So they can manage the what are the conflict of the workplace. If, that conflict can be reduced or can be diluted. Addressing the workers' concern and eliciting the workers' voice and inputs. While the grievance process is often seen as a mechanism for the advancing the workers and the union interest in equity alongside the employer interest in the efficiency. So, grievances process are always in the parallelly, you have to see the mechanism where the workers' conditions and the employer situations that can be parallelly they can see, and both the places the efficiency should not be deteriorated. In both the cases, if the grievance is against the employee or against the employer, so that grievance is depth and the degree should not affect in the overall situation, overall efficiency should not be affected. As early as possible, that grievance should be sorted out. Approaches to workers' management relations and attitudes and the approaches of the non-union firms with respect to involvement and participation of workers in various decisions and the methods adopted for dispute and conflict management is essential to an understanding of the important organizational dynamics, processes, and outcomes from turnover to performance. Strategies may be broadly based on the following approaches. There are avoidance approach, defensive approach, operational approach, utilization approach and comprehensive approach. So different type of approaches are there. It is depending on the situation where it is suitable for the that approaches are there can be implemented. Alternative dispute resolutions strategies. The underlining the motivation driving the use of the specific practices. Right-based options. These options are connected with the rights of the employees. These methods include the mandatory employment attribution, peer review methods. There are two two methods are there. Through this way, you can see how they are connected with the right for the employees. Another is interest-based options. Depending on the interest, you have to choose these options. Interest-based options are used by certain non-union firms to address the external threats because sometimes it has happened threat by the outside, threat by the external forces. So in that case, some option should be chosen by the things by the employers and the employee also both. Then types of the types of the types of the non-union strategies. The worker involvement and the participation methods may be directed to achieve effective communications and the exchange between the workers and the management, or may be used as a mechanism for the workers to share the ideas and provide the input to management unidirectionally. So involvement and the participations are the main things where it can be achieved very easily. They can interchange the ideas, share the ideas, where worker can also give some good inputs to the management. The farms may adopt one of three workers participation strategies. The fund means in the case of the company, they can adopt or they can have some policy. The three workers participations, some of the strategy they can read it, and they can also make these things. So participation awareness, one of the things, important part. Participation is very much required. You have to be careful about should not be any avoidance. Production centered participations. Those who are in the productions, they know well better than others because they daily in handling the situations, whatever their idea, that idea should be respect some in regards of their work. Should hearing the listening the things, their ideas, and carefully observe the things. Worker-centered participations are also important because ultimately, the end of the day, workers has to finish the job. They have to do this thing skillfully and quality-wise. They have to do it. So their participation is very much required. Their problems, their ideas are always to be taken care nicely, so that during the implementations, there should not be any problem. They can happily implement, allow or support the systems during the implementations happily. If they are not involved, what the management is thinking there in own way, the workers may or may not be participating full-heartedly. So anything, any project or any ideas, half-heartedly is very different because awareness is not there. If I not participated, I'm not giving any ideas, and my ideas not appreciated, then definitely it will be somewhere the problem will start. So that part is right? The worker-centered participation, production-centered participations. That is all these things are very much different. Now, employees' relations. What are the factors? The relations strategies adopted by the firms are dependent upon a number of factors. There are four dominant factors are there drive the firm's strategy combination of the workers' participation in the management and the dispute solutions resolutions approaches to manage the overreaching the employees' relations. The external pressures, that is one of the factors. International your organizational dynamics, the employment relations models, and workforce strategies. There are four things are there. Relations. So this is the way now block T is over now. Thank you very much. So for listening to me, and we are just looking ahead of the next blocks. Thank you.